How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on, my man.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I've had your boy Ed on, and we did a pretty deep dive into the Weck Method, and I've covered some videos on it. So I'm glad we could finally get the guy who started it all. So thank you so much for joining me, David.
How did you meet Edward?
Um, you know, so I did the level one RMT a few years ago with you down there. I'm up in Orange County,
Okay.
and then so that was my first introduction to the rope, and I was like so shitty, but I loved it. It was like one of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things
yeah.
that you just can tell that this is something that your body needs, and so there are a few other like rope flow guys out there. You've really that's your whole thing, right? Is you get the message out and then your people spread it, right? They're the ones that like really populate it. And so you got some cool
Yes.
rope flow
Yeah.
guys, AJ, Alpaca, like they're all
Oh, yeah.
awesome. But
Yeah.
I didn't really see it myself in their style at all. They're so like fluid and like, they're like chill. And then like Ed was a little bit more like aggressive and attacking. And I felt like that connected a little bit more. So I took his course, and yeah, we've been in contact for a couple years now. He's a good guy.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so like what do you consider yourself? Like what is the title you give yourself? Do you consider yourself like a fitness influencer, an inventor, a coach, or all of the above?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. I mean, I suppose you could say, inventor, entrepreneur would be sort of a broad categorized to define the career, I guess. But I think I'm really sort of a biomechanist at heart, and my own personal curiosity and insatiable draw like the moth to the flame for me, balance and that ease of movement is so enticing for me that I practice it anyway. And I'm like a B plus level athlete, Division III college football and track. So, I can't get paid to play, but I'm athletic enough to know, okay, yeah, this is legit, like it's real. I can dunk a volleyball now. You know what I mean? So being a successful inventor, entrepreneur, gave me the mailbox money because you can either license it and, sit at home and drink lemonade, or you can work real hard and, do the company yourself, right? So I chose the license route to not surf. I intentionally never surfed because like I'm not going to get caught doing that shit because I'll never win. And I'm what can I do with it, right? So it was all fiddling around, tinkering and figuring it out to figure it in, just following principles. And so you become a biomechanist because that's essentially what you're trying to go faster. You're trying to, go longer. You try to be more efficient. So I had all that time without the burden of having to deliver a coherent 1 hour, right? No
Yeah.
beginning, no middle, end. Okay. And when I was training people in New York City, pursuing acting, I mean, I was
And
just
when
so.
is this? This is like the 90s, right? Early
Yeah,
mid
this is the
90s?
1992. I moved to New
Okay.
York City, and like, okay, you're an actor. Okay, great. Well, what does that mean? That means you wait tables. Does that mean you do something, right? So I start personal training, and because just movement and getting better at moving better is always, it's been a part of my life with like extreme focus since I was like 14 years old. That's all I cared about for periods of time. So it's just very natural for me to help someone, move a little better. And these are, affluent women in Manhattan, in their apartments, husbands and children. So I basically was so just boom that I was present for that 1 hour. Like I could make, no matter what happened, I could make that session perfect. Like, if 8 minutes left on the clock, I got to get out of here and I will seamlessly do it like I designed the thing, right? And you got no idea because I'm just with you here. I don't take notes to remember what hurt you last night. I'll pick you
Yeah.
right back up. And it was a teaching someone to sort of the path to independence. So I was an actor and I got a job for 6 weeks in Atlanta to do a film. Well, if you're training 9 appointments a day, well, there's a whole list of people, right? And so, for some of them, I got another trainer to fill
Yeah.
in, and some of them it's just, here's a program, a check-in kind of thing. But the people that I trained all those years back, they went on to get in better and better shape after I left. I just think, if you're selling a plastic Christmas tree that looks perfect, I just don't want it. You know what I mean? Like I want what's happening now, right? And she slipped on ice yesterday. Her ankle is broken today. What do we do? Go. You know, it's about, I guess I think it boils down to confidence and the fight, flight, response ability, opportunity, threat. These are the basics, and it's all subcortical, right? So you can't think your way out of these things, and you got to respect and bend the knee to reality that your reflexes, right? That is going to fire no matter what happens. Wax on, wax off. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Right. You got to get underneath it. And there is nothing so threatening as the immediate, sense that you could fall and bust your ass. And that's so lower level and so not a problem anymore that it's okay, boom, forget about it, forget about it. No, 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 no. We must never forget that we got to reset threat because I don't care if the rent is due and you don't got it or there's a bear chasing you. Your body is going to embody some emotional state. And if you got fear, trepidation, hesitation, oh fuck, freeze, for even 1 millisecond, you lose,
Yeah.
right? So this is about teaching this glorious creature to restore its physical integrity by taking a step where you control it, right? You dictate the exchange, right? It's on your terms. It's a textbook. Walking is a series of controlled falls that you recover your balance every step. No wonder everybody's back hurts. No wonder. Okay? Poindexter and his little pocket full of pencils told us that we got a Pavlov press. It's just, you know what I'm saying? The push-up police are, now persecuting anyone online who even says bosu ball. It's a bunch of, it's this an actor friend of mine said in New York City once, he said, life is high school all over again, right? And now I think life is kindergarten all over again, right? You get the little clicks and you get the little, it's an emotionally treacherous place to be, in K through 6 elementary school, right? Be very cautious because they are cruel. And they are
Yeah.
because weak men have weakened the planet Earth.
Yeah.
The state of strength of humanity is dictated by the strength of the men in the world. That's it. End of story. That's
Well,
what
what's
it
what's what's the saying, right? They say hard times make, what is it? Tough men, easy times make soft men, or and then
is.
the tough men make
It's the cycle.
easy times. Yeah, exactly. So
It's
it's
the
like,
cycle. Listen, I was born in New Jersey, okay? Very tough, early's on time and all that kind of stuff, right? We bite in, we will never let go. You pry the fucking corpse off it and then not gonna let go. You gotta break it off, right? I moved to California. I have become so fucking soft compared to my former
yeah.
self, okay? Like 40 degrees. Oh, it's chilly. Right? We're scraping ice off of a windshield back home. So it's true that the modern technology and convenience and innovation, Stephen Hawking can live a long, productive life in a wheelchair. And, 100,000 years ago, I'm sorry, but, we just don't have the resources to provide for you because, you can't get your own resources.
Yeah.
And the first resource is get your ass from here to there. If you can't even do that, well, now you need a big infrastructure of, paved roads and wheels and all these kinds of things that allows that human experience to exist, right? And these are just basics. That's all I'm doing is talking basics. I'm not trying to solve some problem other than the immediate reality of how good do you feel in terms of the confidence that you have.
So did
If
you always have an interest in like the locomotion and the gait, or did that come like later?
I think the gate for me was I was fascinated with it when I was a child because I think one of my favorite things to do was I like to run like the wind, is what I would tell my parents. As soon as I could do it, I ran like the wind. That was how I expressed it at that young formative age. And I lost a foot race to two boys when I was 6 years old, and it was the first loss I'd ever experienced. And it was just like this, like, wait a minute, like I'm Buzz Lightyear. They're not like what? You know what I mean? And so I also fell asleep standing up when I was 6 years old,
Like
which
a cow or a horse or what are they?
like a person who just had the perfect balance of like my parents had a like a dinner party and the guests, at the front door, another 45 minutes of the party's not over yet. And I was standing there and apparently I just fell asleep and I'm just suspended asleep. And this is all subcortical, right? Now you're
Yeah.
in dreamland, but to have your body experience the effortless power of verticalization, all the potential energy that makes us the most efficient terrestrial locomotor on the planet, and you're getting it 100% for free. And then when I graduated college, I had just had a knee surgery. I'm in New York City, right? Personal trainer, actor guy now. And my knee, I had to have a knee surgery from a football injury from like the year before. And so they had to scope out the meniscus and cut off the tear and let it fix. And the day out of the operation, okay, I'm walking through Central Park, and sort of limping through, and I see guys on rollerblades. And these guys are like jumping over fucking trash cans, like got 12, 15 trash cans, fucking tan shirt off, looking fucking great, doing these things. And I'm just like, I am doing that. I am doing that. I even copied the fucking overall suspended, felt it on, tan and ripped and young in my 20s. I mean, it was fucking amazing. And
I've seen the
I
headshots. You're a handsome fella.
yeah, and what happened, right? No, I take the difference between me and Brad Pitt is he takes 10 out of 10 good pictures, and I take two or three good pictures out of 10, right? So they hire him, right? Fortunately, I didn't get hired. I'm glad I didn't be some actor waiting for the phone to ring.
Out of
Uh-uh.
control of your own life, your own
And no,
destiny, you
no, that's
know?
not good. That's not good. But the acting, though, was also very instructive for me in just confidence. Because
Yeah.
what I did when I was a kid, I've always been type A, meaning I'm competitive and I like being competitive and I can't lose because losing is unacceptable. So a losing has to be a lesson that leads to winning. Otherwise, figure out something else, right? So that's the way I've always lived my life, with that sort of all or nothing type of mentality. And it led me to be very, successful, captain of football team, all the accolades, honor roll, all that kind of stuff. Right? On paper, perfect. Division 3, perfect. Right? Not Division 1. Let's be very clear, right? But to perpetuate and maintain that output, I was so nervous on the inside because failing for me I was so afraid of failure that failure had radiated a distractive, sapping force that I just clamped down and my armpits released it in the form of sweat. Okay, so I would be a senior in high school. I'm the tits. I'm a big man on campus guy. And I'm sitting in French 2 class, fucking dripping sweat because I'm nervous and I have to ascend the staircase a certain way. Otherwise, everything will fall apart.
Do you feel it mentally too, or is it just manifesting more physically?
It's the physical manifestation means that you got no choice. It's now a mind and intellectual and emotional issue because the body is just the root system of the brain. So your body is really your brain, right? And that forms the mind and, the spirit and bodies. So there really isn't distinction between brain and body in the sense that this is all a network to get what this needs, which is to fill this with food. God said, eat or be eaten. I want to see something happen. Go. Now I'm going to wiggle. I'm going to make a vertebrae. Right? It's going to be segmented. Why? Because physics, that's what it's going to emerge if we put stress on that particular system, right? Oh, now we got a vertebrae, but we're buoyant. Okay, great. All we got to do is be a shark. which means we can't breach unless we dive deep and breach, right? Over a dolphin. Oh, well, guess what I'm going to do? We're going to have amphibians that have to get out of the buoyancy of they got to deal with the atmosphere, the atmosphere now, baby. So now you got to take that wiggle right side to side and you got to figure eight. Oh yeah, that's right, because figure eight is great in terms of efficiency and health and everything. Figure eight is great. And if you can't figure eight, well, you're going to hate what happens to your body because not you were not functioning in accord with the divine structural design that is a human being. We're all the same but different. We all sort of have this divine proportion, but different, right? So perfect would be, 11.25. And okay, well, maybe I'm 11.37, right? Who knows? But it gives us an area on the map, and the map is cardinal and intercardinal directions. It's 8 slices of a pizza pie to create 45-degree angles, and you use vertical gravity as your where and your when, and then you rotate and preserve balance 100% of the time. Because the cat that we have, if we throw Dexter up in the air 20 feet high, Dexter's not out of balance. No matter what we did to throw him, Dexter is in perfect control of the situation. Okay, well, let's be like Dexter, not the guy who kills people and does that, but the kitty cat, right? The kitty cat who likes to bring home little rewards from mommy, my daughter. Okay, here's a little dead mouse. You see, I'm your hunter, right? Because I'm going to eat tonight. I'm sitting in the backyard, and suddenly I hear the toot. Dexter just jumped off the roof. Are you kidding me? Jumped off the roof. If you do a comparative analysis in terms of like body height to jump, I mean, Jesus, the guy just jumped off a 3-story building, 4-story building, 5-story building, right? So the confidence was always the thing that was lacking for me, but I didn't shy away from the fire, right? So I was a type A person who off gassed all that pressure with alcohol on Saturday night,
Yeah.
right? So alcohol for me, the freedom was it removed 100% of my inhibition, and now there was no one that was afraid of anything when
Yeah.
he was firing them back, right? And so that like just unrestricted, do whatever the fuck I want right now was sort of the polar opposite of this guy who's trying his best to keep it all together, but it's almost busting at the seams, right? And obviously, what you want is, the balance of those two qualities, right? So you just have to, if you go to the ends of polarities, well, now you got all this space in the middle, right? But if you're sort of stuck where you're not quite at polarity, well, now you're sort of in restricted area where you can't move as fast and you can't move as far. But if you can get to the ends, the 0 to 100, boom, boom, it's very fast and it's very far. So, and that's all just metaphor for reconciling your self-image and your self-esteem that defines your confidence. And acting was also another very powerful, I guess, repetitive circumstance of getting rejected 2,000 times in auditions. It's
Does it help you asking out girls? Did that get you?
it helps you with anything. Like I'm not an inhibited person,
Yeah.
like me in Japan. I went to Japan for the first
Cool.
time I spent time there. And I'm like the loud American because I don't even know that like it's impolite to just talk at this volume. And here I'm talking at my volume, right? Explaining this and that. And I look around and wow, this is a much more reserved culture, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm so self-centered without a malignant, like I only want to harm people who have harmed me or harmed innocents unjustly. And then I want to harm them to hell and let God forgive them if he chooses, because I don't have that burden. I'm not God, right? I don't have to forgive, right? You do enough wrong and evil and unjust, I'll hate you forever. And God can figure it out, right? God, you deal with God now, but you are my enemy if you're evil. And if I can do something about it, I am going to do something about it. And what's so amazing about what's happening is in the physical realm, there is no bullshit because 10 push-ups is 10 push-ups. And you said 11, but you only did 10. So go fuck yourself, right? If we don't have to actually do it physically, well, then you could do a million. Okay, yeah, right. You say anything you want and you could believe it. So you're clear. There's no malintent. You just believed it, but it wasn't true. So physical, right? We all have to walk. And if we can't walk, we still have to get from here to there. All right. And the percentage of us who have to walk to get from here to there is probably 99 point, what, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Most people, right? And we used to, our ancestors, by definition, when calories are scarce and precious, you can't afford to burn more of them acquiring the next batch of them.
Gotta
Because
be efficient.
if you have a deficit then, well, now it's life and death. Okay, and it's not life and death for you, it's life and death for your family, it's life and death for your seed. How hard are you going to fight for your seed? Holy fuck. That means I never give up. That means it's like it's this it's an infinite well that I can tap into the energy because it's my seed. And a human being, because we can write shit down, right? We can transcend time and space by writing shit down. The author doesn't have to be here, right? The author could have left the fucking building, but the story is the same. The story remains, right? So our seed doesn't necessarily have to be that most fundamental seed, which is your DNA. It can be, I can adopt one of these meat puppets and I could love it just as if it were my own. That is the fucking human capacity that we are willing to die for our seed in a broader sense than just our seed, right? And that makes us so fucking cooperative and so fucking competitive that we can do so many fucking amazing things, right? And when we reduce it down to the fitness industry, if you don't teach perfectly balanced locomotion as the very first step of everything you do, well, now you're the fuckface, right? You're the fucking unscientific, fucking quack, fucking charlatan bitch. Oh, you see how it works? Yeah, life is high school all over again. It's fucking kindergarten all over again. I show up wanting to be helpful, and I figure, holy fuck, there's a whole political fucking strategy to fucking, to whatever's happening here. And like I was the kid in high school, I was accepted by, the cool kids and the ones who, were the socially most adept. I was accepted, but I didn't want to be in that club. And then what I did was I was more friends with the misfits, and the misfits throw way better parties.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So all the cool guys or cool girls, the cliques, they'd end up coming to the parties that I was throwing with the friends of mine that didn't have a father in the house. It's very simple.
That's why they're able to have better parties. They don't have the guidance.
Hence, we're back to strong fucking men need to be there, right? And a strong man is someone who will stand up in front of everybody, the whole town, the whole village, and say something. That's a strong man, even if it's a little boy saying, "Excuse me, the emperor is wearing a straitjacket. I don't see the lovely flowing robes. I'm teaching the lovely fucking flowing robes. He's teaching you brace your spine stiff." That is dogma. And there's a huge long tail to 18 years of confusion and misinformation. They're literally informing wrong strong. Freeze, oh, freeze. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you talk to different physical therapists. There'll be physical therapists that follow the traditional, McGill big three, and then sometimes the people get a little bit better, and a lot of times they don't get better at all. And then you have this whole new wave of physical therapists that understand the body is complex, expansion, compression, the spine needs to move, and it's not as simple as just
Well,
engaging your abs and not moving your spine. So I feel like the physical therapy world has changed a lot, and I feel like finally the fitness world is a little bit. You see so many more people now talking about move your spine in different directions. Is that something you feel too?
Yeah, well, 100%. Like it's a paradigm shift because the scientific understanding and the narrative has been incorrect, officially incorrect. Okay. And now, I mean, McGill, the best thing that McGill could do right now is just basically say, okay, internally to himself, my expertise on spine function for locomotion doesn't exist.
Yeah.
His expertise does not include locomotion for his expertise on the spine. All right. So, where he has expertise on the spine is putting the body under immense limit load and protecting the spine so he can help the strongest lifter in the world get stronger. He's good at that and has expertise. No problem. That's great. And
But he's
he's
not good once
all
that lifter gets hurt.
correct. And here's what he's also good for is in acute situation where your back fucking you get the zing like holy fuck that my back you're seizing right oh my back your body then goes to a bracing
Yeah.
stiffness to lock down so it doesn't move and so you're supposed to do the big three now where all you're ever working on is locking it down so that's good in the beginning when you don't want to move it because any movement whatsoever is going to hurt it but what if we sort of had forward thinking and began with the end in mind, which is like balance, perfect, like God made you, as opposed to academic, where it's all bullshit and ego, right? That's what academics are. They're egotistical narcissists who, yeah, I'm an egotistical narcissist too. So listen, I defy anyone to find someone more narcissistic and altruistic as me.
Yeah,
Because
those two
I
traits probably don't go together that much.
well, hey, they go together like fucking strings and a bow. You put narcissism and altruism together because I want to be the best. Okay, I God's honest do. I will admit it. And if it's okay, one sandwich and it's only, two people, I'm sorry, but we're going to compete for it. Okay, I'm not just going to give it to you, right? You might win and I go away, but I might win and you go away if it boils down, right? And that's just, I guess that's the nature, right? Is at some point you may have to do something that will be perceived as like, oh, that's not kind or generous, but okay, I'm alive to be kind and generous, right? So the once you remove the human being from their own reality that they feel secure in the sense that if they're prepared for opportunity to seize it and they're prepared for threat to happen and respond capably, you don't know what's coming next, right? And if you think nothing's coming next, well, now you're just fucking pretending because it's coming, okay? There's a cinder block and it's swinging. And if you don't move, it's going to hit you. Life is hard, right?
What do you think it is like mentally about some people that like don't want to have a shift in their paradigm? Like even like I never had that. Like I used to be much more aligned with McGill, and I did a lot of shit that I changed because I saw an opportunity to challenge my beliefs and get better. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can get better, like why not do that? Where I feel like a lot of people almost don't even want to dip into that. They don't even want to like think about it and challenge their beliefs because I don't know if it's going to make them change their worldview on everything, maybe make them rethink other things. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's something that's happening?
Well, I think first of all, I think categorically the people who go into the exercise science, I mean, they're good people. There's not enough money in it to attract evil people. Okay, so they're not like scheming Bill Gates, Fauci to ruin the world, which I think that those people are. It's my opinion, right, based on the facts as I see them. So you're beginning with a pool of people who are good people at heart. Okay, so they truly do want to help. Oftentimes, it's someone who wasn't good enough at the thing they liked, so they had to peripherally peel off and then study that thing to help the people who could go get paid to play it. They get to help them get stronger or better, peripherally because they themselves wanted it so bad, but can't get it themselves. So you have to help those who can, right? And then it's sort of this career process of, okay, I've gotten to this, and I'm just talking perception is reality. So what others think of me is defined as blank, right? Oh, and then I did this, and then I did this paper, and oh, this one brought me to here, and this. Now I'm king of the hill, and I'm Stuart McGill, right? It's 2007. We have the science that the core does not generate power. All right. We put nodes on them. I was the first person to have an inter whatever measure or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if I measure you doing a squat or a deadlift and I'm doing some differential on core tension or core engagement, well, there's not much differential in core engagement. Whereas if I'm measuring the hip, oh, that's where it's all happening, right? Okay. But you're measuring a non-changing differential in a bilateral, symmetrical movement, and you're telling us the cord doesn't generate power, just transmits it. Now we're back to, okay, well, what's the scope of your expertise? Because you're dead wrong when it comes to moving the body, right? Oh, well, this is one that's easy to fucking throw a rock with because it's sort of silly, but there's a reason. And then, sort of, oh, don't blame him for that. And I'm talking about McGill's famous, bend the pig, the swine spine, bend the swine spine back and forth until it breaks. Right? That's science, right? How many times does it take to break the back of a pig that's dead and his spine is in
That's,
my
that's on all
machine,
fours.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's one argument that, okay, well, the spine is just fundamentally loaded differently, so whatever. But you're also now confronted with the fact that what was the flexion and extension and movement, that the stress, the physical stress that you put on? Because if it was just this, well, we sort of know, why do we need to do the experiment? But if it were engaged in locomotive, efficiency, where the spine is now articulating in accord with its proportion that makes it integrated. So I'm not trying to stop motion, I'm coordinating motion. And I don't need to stop if it's a figure eight. The figure eight doesn't stop. And so McGill's got this sort of like,
Mhm.
and we're saying, no, fucking play me. McGill is like, oh, here's how you play the piano. Bang, bang, bang. And we're saying, no, no,
Yes.
no, no, no. Come on, McGill, right? And if you broke all your fingers, well, maybe in the beginning you do that, but you don't keep doing that, right?
Exactly.
Because that's Stuart McGill. His piano lessons is a complete cacophony, right? And it only works if you only got to hit, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. As soon as you get past the intro, you got to start doing Weck.
Exactly. I like that. That's a great analogy. Now, are you familiar with the what is it, the decereberated cat study that they did back in the day, like the 60s?
Which one?
The decereberated cat study where they took out the brain and put them on a
Oh,
treadmill.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm I'm aware of some funny things that happened with cats and when they were asleep,
Yeah.
and what they did and all those things, right?
I was just thinking about you because I thought about you instantly when I had Dr. Oh my God, Scott Stevenson. I had Scott Stevenson on the podcast, and he was talking about how he worked with spinal cord injuries who had and just how the reciprocal gait would work. But he said a lot of the work they did came from these studies that they took out these brains, except for the stem of these cats, and they would get them started moving on the treadmill, and then they would have a reciprocal gait pattern that would just work without any input
Mm,
from the brain. It was all coming from the spine, the mechanoreceptors there, and it
mm,
would like pick up things. Like if they like blocked his foot, the next time around they would pick up its little paw. And there's nothing going on with the brain. So what they kind of discover is like a lot of the like your brain kind of modulates, like starts stops it to a certain degree, but the actual like motion and the intent is
yeah.
more coming from the spine. So
It
that
makes
always made me think about your stuff because a lot of your
yeah.
stuff is not consciously thinking about it. You're going with it and letting it take you where you should go.
That's a really good point. And so what you have is, if you start like, bosu for me is both sides utilized, and it's a philosophy. It's not both sides up, which is a product that you would use with both sides utilized philosophy. All right. So we have two brains, as we know, right and left. But we also have two brains, as we have, which is conscious and the subconscious. So the right and left, right? The intellect and the emotion, right? Sort of that limbic one, and then the Gestalt limbic, oh, I'm going to be creative. And then this, intellectual one is, okay, you're creative, and I'm going to add up the dollars and cents, and we're going to make a lot of money, help the world, right? So harmonizing right and left, which is locomotion, right? That's basically what it is you're playing catch with yourself and gravity ground the earth, right? So boom, boom. And you're preserving the balance by doing the actions in the air so that the opportunity to now engage with the ground is confident because the force is going through the skeleton that is fundamentally strong. When you're weak, your skeletons are just as strong as, yesterday you didn't have the flu, today you do. Let's measure your bones. They're just as strong. They're just as strong. So the only way that you can free the force for fascial fluid transmission is with skeletal integrity. It's the only way you can do it. And shifting your weight with a rope gives you the best of the down and up because you have the timing and you have the right left rotation. So you're getting this ability to bang at the right instant. The timing is perfect and the skeleton is perfect. So everything amounts to perfect. So what you're getting is you have these motor and sensory cortices in both sides of the hemispheres here, connected by the corpus callosum. And this is where the front brain, forebrain volition, I am going to learn the underhand matador's wheel. That is this, where it's deliberate motor sensory. But when I run enough reps, now the cerebellum, okay, the one who is conducting the orchestra to the point where try to hold your breath and kill yourself. Try it, right? Try it. You got a cerebellum and a basal ganglia. You got a lower brain that ain't gonna let you be so stupid. That the upper brain says, "Oh, I got to go to the top of a tall building or a bridge or get a firearm." Oh, because I can't do it to myself because my lower brain won't let me. That's the power of the lower brain, right? It's instinctual. It doesn't need a fucking idiot on top to fucking say something stupid, right? And the problem is the idiot on top who said stiff is fucking stable when the body's in motion confuse the lower brain because now you just fucking saddled it with reps and reps and engrams and that which fires together, wires together. Don't build strength on dysfunction. Why the fuck are you uprooting every single athlete who comes into your place? Your entire program, your everything you do, everything is being sapped by the fact that your fundamental philosophy, the very thing that you are building upon, is incorrect. It is wrong, strong. Shame on you. And bosu balls make healthy athletes weaker? Oh, really? Really? Well, I know who I am and I know where I am, and I'm at X on the map, and I'm the king of motherfucking locomotion. And it's loco, right? It's crazy. It is crazy. How the hell could a species so advanced as us forget how to fucking walk with balance?
What are your thoughts on all the non-contact injuries? I know you've
Oh my
spoken about this a
God.
little bit. Like,
Okay, yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on that. First one, okay? What I'm going to say is that if I want to prepare the lower extremities for athletic prowess competition and not getting hurt, I want them engaging on a bosu ball ballistically from a lot of angles and a lot of movements because I want that lower extremity to understand perfect skeletal transmission and then all the chaos of the little last exchange when the turf is there and the other person's foot is there and when that's happening and he's hitting me there and I'm moving from there, right? That's when it matters. And so if I have invested 1 ounce of energy, 1 millisecond of time rehearsing and practicing uprooted, strong, defend the defense, the indefensible, then I have just patterned the nervous system to go in the wrong direction when the shit hits the fan because we have to go down before we go up. And the way that we go down is we drop the center, no delay. It can only go as fast as gravity will attract it. You can't go faster than gravity with your center of mass. So you got to let go. Stiffness don't let you let go. You let go and you raise the base. Think Barry Sanders if you want to think about athletic reactions. You drop the weight and you lift the base. You buy yourself time, you watch what your opponent does, and instinctually, because you've done it a million times or thousands of times, you're not thinking in the moment, you're boom, you're doing in the moment, and you juke the guy, and you're in the Hall of Fame, and you're like the greatest, just raw skills runner there ever been, right? Give him Emmett Smith's offensive line, and you watch it. 7 yards of carry becomes the new standard, right? So
I saw some stat that like showed how much he actually ran because he did so much lateral, and it was like so much more than anybody.
you have to take the yards gained from scrimmage and subtract the yards lost from scrimmage. And when you lose like 1,200 yards from scrimmage because the offensive line went to Switzerland and turned into cheese, I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just back to the point that what we need is we need human beings who understand what to trust fundamentally and what then how do you apply that level of trust to whether you're going to trust other things. If you don't have like this rock bottom, I am 100% certain that what I'm certain of is certain, that it is actually true, which I'm standing up, I'm not laying down all fallen and broken. If you have that, that's a confidence that can't be faked. Because if you don't have it, you'll crack under pressure. Trust me, right? You'll crack under pressure. If I can, I don't care the size of the arena. I don't care. Put every fucking screen on. If I'm getting up, I'm talking about fucking walking. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Give it the most intense, pressure cook situation, and that's just energy now. Oh, there's eyeballs. There's attention. That means change is happening, and change happens like this. It's a power law. Sunset Cliffs, California does not wear away a quarter of an inch every year. It stays the same, essentially, pretty much. And then a big storm comes, it goes whoosh, whoosh, and it goes away. Right? And in this case, what it is the big storm, right, hasn't come, but this is where the water used to come here. And now I'm here. This is me. Before me, me. This is me. And pretty soon, this whole charade goes boom. And now we can build for real on my 10 fingers. I get to be the bold, brash guy who gets to say it any way I want because my customer, the athletic coach trainer guy, he has to do my work just like the high jump coach has to do Fosbury because if you don't teach head over foot, well, you are unemployable in the business of helping human beings move from here to there faster. Non-contact injuries. You tell people in strength and conditioning that bosu balls make healthy athletes weaker. That's a scarlet letter that will not live in my weight room. We are anti-fragile in my weight room. To get that fucking bosu ball out of here because science McGillian spinal stiffness science says that bosu balls make healthy athletes weaker because there was a study in 2007 where 19 soccer players, college soccer players, they did these exercises and half of them did dynadisc exercise. They lifted weights. And it was only 3% of the intervention and they didn't perform as well on the post test. And therefore, bosu balls make healthy athletes weaker. Do you realize that you're trying to take bread? No, you're not trying. You are taking bread off my motherfucking table now with your lies and your agenda. And I kept my mouth shut. For 10 years, I didn't say a word because I'm not going to pour gasoline on a fucking fire that's out of control. What can I say other than
Right?
give
Just
them
draw
more fucking
attention.
exactly. Like I don't, there's nothing I can do. But then I invent the propulsors, right? There's the open chain, upper body open chain plyometrics, right? These things, you're faster up a hill with them than without them. So I'm going to put weight, steel, metal in your hands, and that's going to make you go faster up a hill. I wouldn't have believed you if you told me that, but it's true. And that's why I got the unbeatable patent on the next athletic advantage that's undeniable if you're honest and market forces, the economy, your ability to fucking make money training people, that ability goes 100% away when the truth is told. And I'm just a truth messenger. That's all I am. And that makes me fearless because I got the truth on my side. The ultimate truth on my side is I know my relationship with Jesus and God, right? So, in a sense, I'm going to die anyway. So, I'm just going to have a good time fighting as hard as I can and die standing and not going to get on my knees to survive. That's just not what I'm going to do because I'm very secure in my afterlife.
Do you
And I
still,
want to go ahead.
I was just wondering, like, so do you still have like the fear of failure, or does the fact that you are so like confident in your convictions like make you not have that same fear? Because I mean, it's hard to be afraid of failure when you're trying to lead industry-wide change and
Yeah.
innovation.
Yeah, I think now what I would say is it's not a fear. I don't have a fear of failure now. And it was my number one sort of, burden was the fear of failure in my life. So had I not had the fear of failure, I would have had a lot more fun, let's put it that way. It probably wouldn't have got quite as smashed, hammered, and out of control on Saturdays, right? Probably would have needed that much extreme to balance this much extreme. And I'd probably have performed better, I think certainly. So I'd have more fun and enjoyment of my time on this earth. I'd have performed better, right? All the benefits and advantages had I just known the information that I know now. Literally. Okay. So it took me a lot of like overcoming that fear of failure and the nervousness to get to a place where I just know what I'm talking about. So what's there to be afraid of? I have nothing to hide. When I was a kid, like in first grade, and the Kinks had just, they you could hear it on the radio. Have you heard the song like Layla or Lola? Oh my gosh, and I hadn't heard it yet. But you can bet your ass that I was nodding my head. Oh yeah, that song's great. I love that song when it comes on the radio. I couldn't have hummed it because I hadn't heard it yet. And in those days, you had to wait for it. You couldn't go get it, right? So I was so afraid that I do what the certified fucking trainer does when he's told that stiffness is the answer to everything. He just nods his head and he now has to convince himself because he doesn't have the balls to stand up to something that makes no sense. And I was a victim of it myself. If I didn't break my arm at 16 years old and basically go, I was about 16 years old. I was one rep away from being in the 300-pound bench club. I didn't get into the 300-pound because my bench went from, 280 or whatever it was to fucking zero, market zero.
Man, how did that happen?
It was football. I dove here and it broke the electron process off here.
Fuck.
I had a moron surgeon, a drunk fuck in suburban New Jersey. He took the fragment of bone and he didn't take the bone fragment out and put it into real bone. He took the fragment, he wired the fragment back into position.
It looks a little
Oh, okay. And
wonky.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know
Yeah.
anything. Those days, back in those days, it was so pathetic that like you'd separate your shoulder or something and if the doctor couldn't see you, you would just wait. You would do nothing. Right? If I get hurt now, I'm treating it like immediately. The sooner we can fix this, the less problem we have, right?
Yeah.
And if you know you can fix it, well, suddenly you're confident. But when you don't got a clue, like me at that age, oh, just wait for the doctor. Okay, the doctor fucks me. And then the day I got it out of the cast from all that wire and mangle, the triceps tendon, bang, 100% rupture.
Ooh.
Gone, gone. And this is, you're talking about a guy who is more self-conscious than you could imagine, who is already super self-conscious about the fact that his arms are skinny and his chest is big. Like, I was so shameful about my arm size that, like, do I roll the t-shirt here? Like, do I have to do push-ups before I go into anywhere? Like, it was ridiculous, right? Just the need to be, presentable, like big, which I'm not. So you can imagine the conundrum. I can't be what I need to be. Oh my God. Why?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think that like your the whole movement system for the Weck method. I think it's really like people think of it as just moving like weird ways, but I think it's kind of like misunderstood because from what I understand, it's like you just utilize every aspect of it, which
I think what this is the trump card that always wins is now I have the social proof that the strongest guys are getting stronger with my strategy. And my fundamental strategy is side, side, and center. Okay.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's all torsion. So a back squat can be done in different ways upon depending upon what you want to achieve with it. So it's not like back squat, boom. No, we can modify them with Weck Method. We can modify and tune in the torsion to exactly what we want. And what I ultimately want is I want ambivalence between my internal torsion and my external torsion. I want to be able to be in this poise to pounce. This can't be longer and this can't be stronger. And I want to be able to be like, you go this way, I don't care. You go that way, I don't care because I'm just doing whatever the fuck. You zig, I'll fucking zag every time because I'm right at that boundary of internal and external torsion. And I'm going back to the embryo. When you first form as an embryo, you have something called the Wolffian ridge that goes from this hole down to the hole that I just got a bidet. I just got a bidet, a Japanese toilet. It's the most
Oh yeah, the
sophisticated.
Japanese one, yeah.
Holy shit. And then I watched the South Park episode
Yeah,
of
that's what
one.
I'm talking about.
I mean, good God. Let me tell you something. I should probably start selling Japanese toilets. I love it
Yeah.
so much. I sit on my
Don't get
Japanese
big toilet paper mad at you,
toilet paper. I made a
like
mistake.
in the show when they try to
I
shoot
made a
him.
mistake. I buy the, the toilet paper, the expensive toilet paper that does the least damage, right? And I made a mistake. I bought a packet of this stuff that, you can fold it 100 times, you still see through it. It's so thin. It's like you can't use it, right? You can't fold it. You'd have to bunch it, right? It's crazy. And so I have that toilet paper. Then I got a Japanese toilet. It's like I don't need toilet paper now. Okay, this is fantastic. And it's just so civilized. I mean, you know what I mean? It's
Did you get it
just,
after you went to Japan and you were using them
yes.
there?
I was so intimidated by the Japanese toilet that I was not using the Japanese feature when I was in Japan until one of our coaches said, David, have you tried the toilet? I'm like, no, of course not. Like, not a chance I'm trying that damn thing. He's like, just try it. Trust me, try it. I'm like, hold on, guys. I'm gonna run back up to my room. So anyway, it's just such a funny little tangent there. I forgot what the question was.
uh, I think, well, we're just talking about like how a lot of people kind of have misconceptions of what Weck method actually is. They think it's only
Yeah,
like doing
right.
coiling and stuff. You can't do a back squat. Like I see this one guy who shits on you all the time, that Anderson guy. I'm sure you've seen
What's
some.
Anderson strength?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny is that guy's been doing it for more than a decade, and I've got him blocked, so I never see anything. But I can't wait to punish that little fuck. Oh God. Oh God. I can't wait to punish him because my punishment is basically I will never, I'm not going to support the guy. And if anybody ever wants an opinion, I'll say that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
And
his
then,
stuff's
and eventually he won't be a piece of shit because it's not going to be good for you in exercise if I say that you're a fraud and a piece of shit and that you've done more harm than good in the fitness industry, which ultimately led to the ultimate good because you pissed me off enough that I worked my ass off for 20 fucking years to figure out how to teach your fucking dumbass how to do what you do better. And you're better than you ever could have been on your own without me. That's who you're dealing with, and that's who you've been just a douchebag.
yeah. It was a
You know what I
comment
mean?
about
It's no, but
it
it's
was
just a douchebag. Like, who is he helping and what is he doing by making fun of me? And you can make it if you're challenging my work, that is a crime against humanity. It is a crime against a confident, sustainably strong, balanced human being. That's what it's a crime against, okay? If you're gonna peddle this fucking, oh, stiff price and Weck doesn't know what he's talking about, well, now you're a fucking criminal, right? And there's consequences because millions of fucking people are gonna have a worse life because they did your fucking push-ups, not mine.
I don't even
You know?
know what he does. All I see is his shit talking, but he
Yeah,
he
I
posted something
listen.
about a back
I
squat.
what I do is I literally one stupid comment on social and you're blocked. I have zero tolerance. Like you're just blocked and you can learn my shit from someone else and that's just fine because right now I don't need the distraction. So I end up blocking, I don't know, probably averages out to between like 3 and 8 people a week
Is
still
this
to this
new?
day.
Because he used to go back and forth a little bit more, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I used to back when I was playing Uncle Weck and being all crazy.
Yeah,
Then I didn't block anyone because I was like, fuck you. Like, and what it is that human beings, I mean, we still don't know Jeffrey Epstein's clients. I mean, it's like, it's so obvious who the clients are, some of the clients,
yeah.
right? So it's like we all know, but nobody's doing anything. And in exercise, we all know that I'm right by now. And the proof is McGill won't say anything. McGill will not say the emperor in his little straitjacket saying a boot, a boot, stiffness. Ho, 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 Grakovetsky, chuckle, chuckle. Like, really, dude? Really, dude? Oh, you need to stiffen, stiff, 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 stiff. It's like, what is happening here? It's so obvious. And we're going to look back in hindsight, and some people are going to be like, fuck, I was weak, is what people are going to have to say to themselves when this thing, and it's real soon. Like, I mean, in sports, the competitive nature of sports and the honesty of athletics, in terms of there's a winner and a loser, market forces, right? Are you going to go to the speed coach who doesn't make you as fast as the speed coach who's doing Weck? Or are you going to go to the guy who's doing McGill and Boyle? Which one are you going to go to? That is an easy answer, and it's obvious answer. And these facilities, the Mike Boyles, they exist upon the suburban affluent. Okay. That's who pays their rent. Okay. Oftentimes, if it's a pro athlete, they don't pay. And they're only there for 3 months because they're playing their sport. And now you get to, put your neon sign that I trained, this guy here. He didn't pay you a dime. Right. And you win because that's marketing for you. It's verification, validation. Right. And then at 2 in the afternoon, well, you get, lunch hour, you might get the moms or somebody exercising in your facility. But at 3 in the afternoon until 8:30 p.m., you got 120 kids coming through this thing. All right, well, run them through the fucking gauntlet. Okay, do your this, that, this, that. That's the business model. Now, I'm in San Diego, so I'm real close to the source, like right here. This is X on the map. And we have coaches here in San Diego who baseball's big here, so 60-yard dashes are very popular. You want to get good at that here in San Diego. And we had one of our coaches take 2/10 of a second off of a kid on the first, and one day, kid didn't run very well, and now he ran well, fast. A father whose son was working with a different coach, tall kneeling chop. Oh, yeah. Like stupid shit, right? Father walks across the gym. He says, how do I get my kid training with you? And that's just going to be the norm. Like you can't get away with bullshit once we all know that your bullshit stinks and my bullshit is balance and strength. And I'm
Is that
flipping on. What's
was
that?
is that still the main criticism that you hear? Is people say you should just be more braced with your spine? Is that the main thing?
No, that's the long tail that was the science for 18 years now and counting because McGill won't come clean. So the science is still stiffness, right? The core does not generate power. You want to pass the fucking test and get your CSCS so you can even get a job in high school, college, or pros and a lot of facilities. You need a standard. It has to be scientific. And therefore, what? The core does what? The core doesn't generate power, boss. Okay, good little minion, right? Get back to work. Go kill bosu balls. Like that's literally what it is.
I
And
mean,
I,
there's a lot of that. I have a lot of PTs on, and they go
it's
through
everywhere.
PT school already having this other knowledge in their head from expansion,
Hmm.
compression, Bill Hartman, locomotion, and they have to fucking answer these questions knowing this is bullshit just so they can get the degree to. So it's
That is,
everywhere.
and that is literally the state of affairs in the highest levels of training is that it's all been built on a faulty foundation, which means that even a good exercise, there's an opportunity cost because you are not training with the intent. If you aim at a target, you got a real good chance of getting better at hitting it closer and closer. But if you're aiming off the target, it is only your athletic intelligence that is innate that thinks he's doing the cue that Mike Boyle told him, but he's actually not. Okay. Mike Boyle, oh, keep your core stiff when you run. Okay, coach, how's this? Mike doesn't know the difference. It's faster. The cue worked. Okay, good. Let's use it for everybody else. Hey, you didn't make the pros. You want to come work and be a trainer? You love the environment. Okay, great. Now you are teaching people this, right? But you did this. You're Michael Johnson, one of the greatest sprinters ever. Oh, Usain Bolt didn't have no technique. He was all over the place. Michael, let's watch you winning a gold medal, setting a world record. Michael, let's watch you from the front where Weck says you need to watch it. That's the first vantage point. Otherwise, you know nothing. Michael, do you see what you're doing? You are double downing with your arms and you are head over footing like Weck says you must if you're going to be at Big Cat Athletic. Oh, no, I didn't move my head. I didn't move nothing. Oh, yeah. Oh, Michael, Michael, Michael. Your coach was terrible. Okay. Ask Tony Holler about Michael Johnson's coach. That's called taking racehorses and fucking them up, but they're racehorses.
He did seem a
What
little more
that is,
stiff than
that,
other guys.
that's well, he'd have been faster if he had
Yeah.
corrected. If he knew that this is what he actually did and that's desirable and it's essential, well, then he would have practiced it and he would have aimed at it and then he would have been faster than he was. That's where I put all my chips. Center of the table, all my chips. You teach Michael Johnson what he actually does, which is what actually must be done. And now he trains with that laser precision versus his coach runs more endurance reps than he does speed reps. That's the coach. Okay, yeah, oh yeah, we got to tire these people out. Yeah, oh yeah, with speed endurance. Oh yeah, it's just wrong. Okay, but you got a fucking specimen. Nature and nurture. You got the nature that's going to override all your stupid nurture. The guy's still going to win a world record, but is it as fast? We'll never know. But now we will because everybody can see that Michael is doing what I teach. And the teachers, they're starting to walk it back, which is really kind of interesting. It's what happens, but this is such a big differential that you can't be doing like the way we train is longest and strongest. So that associates with a visual equity where we know if you're positioned in the Weck coiling core or not. So halfway you're not doing it, but last week you were doing this, right? And this week you're sort of doing this, right? No, just admit, right? Admit that you get better because of me. And that is my competitiveness is I want to vanquish my enemy. I want to hear the lamentations of the women. Like we all do. Every man worth his seed wants to compete and win, right? And you want to dominate. And the great thing about sports is it's metaphor for these base instincts that are necessary to keep ourselves healthy. Can't deny that the meat puppet has certain urges and needs. Can't fucking deny that. Can you? No, you can't. Right? You can, but everybody fucking loses when you do that. Right? So fucking respect. Honor the fact that you're a fucking meat puppet. Now orchestrate before enlightenment, it's carry sticks, carry water. Carry water, carry sticks. That's before enlightenment. After enlightenment, when you realize that water is just the blood, the lymph, the fluid, and the sticks is the bones. So now you're going to carry your sticks, your bones, you're going to carry your blood, your fluid, your water, enlightened. And that lightens your load to heave on earth, heaven on earth. Fucking heave on, baby, every step, every step. The reason why boxers do road work is because if I jog at a slow pace forever, I can always throw another punch if I can change my weight. If I can change my weight, I could throw power, right? All I got to do to put heavy into my hand is change my weight. So when I'm exhausted, if I can change my weight, change, I didn't spend any energy. And every single one of them was the floor. Now, the floor can tap you or the floor can fucking, jolt and penetrate you, but it's the floor nonetheless, right? So you have to have skeletal integrity, and we don't stack bones to balance on one foot. It's all these spirals and fucking fascial fluidity. It's way too complex to make it complex. You got to simplify it by saying, what connects the goddamn circuit head over fucking foot? The circuit is connected, my force is instantaneous, and there is no inhibition, restriction, hesitation of compensatory tension coming up. when I want to go down so I can go up, right?
Yeah. Something
I
you
mean,
said.
and this is, I know I talk fast, right? But, and I'm all over the place, right? But the core message is the same. You can't forget it. You can set it so fucking easy. You could take a human being and for 3 weeks, 21 days of mindfulness, of just these simple, like the big cat shift walk, where you deadlift your hands and you step forward and the palm facing forward, that's your head, touch your head, touch your head. So you use the distal, right? Boom, to educate the proximal. Boom. So now the proximal knows what the fuck it's doing. And now this can fucking catch a football or do whatever it has to do because the proximal was informed by the distal. So we have a relationship and skeletal circuitry. We need bone transmission. Longitudinal bone transmission is how force flows freely, right? If you put your femur like this and you drop a weight, you're going to break it. But you put your femur like this and you drop a weight, you're going to bounce up, right? If you line it up correct. So these are literally the fundamentals. And it is side. If I don't know how to catch perfect on one side, what are the odds that I'll ever catch perfect on that side if I'm not familiar with catching perfect on the side? Weck Method, positions, right? Fundamental coiling core training, master it. You're not getting tired. You're poised to pounce. You're right now ready. And guess what? You're confident. I don't care where on the spectrum you are. You're LeBron James or you're fucking, the little old lady, right? Never played sports. You're on the same, you're same, but different. So I don't care what, nature gave you. We can nurture you exactly the same to optimize the nature. And it's head over foot. It literally couldn't be simpler. And I'm writing a book. And in this book will be a bestseller because it's great. It's easy to read. It's really interesting stories. And the take home message is invaluable. And there's a 21-day program that takes you from wherever you are, you got a leak in the tire, to perfect balance when you walk. Perfect balance when you walk. And we deal with the very first thing called reset threat. We need to take that reflex and we need to down regulate your fucking freak out, right? We're not freaking off ever, and we don't want to freak out either, right? No fucking freak offs. That's not allowed. And don't fucking freak out when you're a human being trying to seize opportunity or, mitigate threat. All right. We need reactions that are responsive. We don't need this bullshit. Right. And one hint of this is a non-contact injury. And we've never seen more non-contact injuries where they're like normal now. To have a guy playing in the Super Bowl and his turn to go back on the field and bang, he snapped his Achilles tendon fresh off the bone. Like, what the fuck happened? All right, well, let's look at it. The athlete in the 1970s was half as big and half as strong, but their feet, climbing trees, riding bicycles, barefoot in the summer, rocks and all. Whereas today, the talented athlete, he's in his size 7 cleats at 8 in the morning on Saturday because the travel game is started. There's no barefoot in a fucking swimming pool climbing trees now. Fuck you. This is business. We don't want to pay for college. That's why we're spending all our money now to get junior to the game, right? So, and it's not bad necessarily, but it's just lost the balance that if everything on top of the feet is just way stronger and the feet themselves are weaker because feet is not 3 sets of 8. Feet is like sets of thousands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if your feet are just fundamentally weaker and less coordinated because they've just been, specialized to perform. I don't want to play soccer in a fucking platypus shoe. Give me a knife to play. I'm gonna play hockey. I'm gonna wear skates. All right. I don't give a fuck. You think your foot, whatever. I'm gonna wear skates because I need them to skiing. I'm going to suffer the fucking, I hate skiing. I hate all these things because I don't like my feet in that position. But if you're playing the game, you have to, right? And that's what got me in trouble in the beginning was rollerblading and that effortless power. I was so mesmerized by just, I can fly with no effort. 6 years I didn't walk. I literally did not walk for 6 years because skates were so much easier. And it was just, and you couldn't, I was so good on them, you didn't know I was wearing skates unless you looked down. I'm taller, I'm cooler, right? And I don't have, it doesn't cost me anything to get home. I just skate. So that got my feet so weak that that hurt my back. I couldn't resolve it because my feet were weak. So now we have athletes that are told bosu balls make them systemically weaker. So God forbid we ever put your foot on it. The most we'd ever do is like put your back on it and do a sit up. Like that won't fuck you up. That's not going to make you weaker. It's still nonsense and throw it away. But so you have that aspect fighting against the resilience of an athlete when they need it most because I think maybe the best case is, well, reality is you don't play barefoot in the fucking whatever for summers, and you do get in a car and go on a field and get in a car and go to the gym or whatever. But now you need exercises to make up for the deficiency that was just built into the fucking lifestyle of the kid in the 70s, right? So you got rid of bosu balls. What did that do for non-contact injuries? I'm going to say that was a bad thing to, mitigate non-contact injuries, to demonize a bosu ball. And then balance begins in the upper body. So if the upper body's not correct, it doesn't matter really so much what the feet are capable of because you just can't use them because the upper body's out of balance. So now you teach everyone certified, okay? This is the highest educated niche in fitness. And you teach them that the core doesn't generate power. And now we're going to stiffen your spine. And the objective is to move your body. That creates glitchy fight flight response ability, which is an inability in the moment that matters, which is a millisecond. So it's very, very short. It's imperceptible and invisible because we cannot 100% understand and ascribe causality. All we can do is correlation, and correlation is 1 to fucking 1. If you look at the numbers, when this bullshit, spinal stiffness became the narrative, and when the non-contact injury skyrocketed, let's look at the graph. You can't prove causation though, right? And I'll admit that, right? It's an invisible, and that makes it all the more insidious because now the trainer doesn't know that he's picking the scab every fucking day, right? Oh yeah, Stuart McGill. Oh. And I can't not make that fucking wussy ass voice because these people are behaving very weak. It is weak to not admit and be accountable for your actions. That is weakness. That is a slinky way, like, that is bullshit. Stand up. Stand up and be accounted. What did you teach a human being to do to move better today? We know the internet is forever. We know who said what when, and who said what when defines who we're going to listen to for the next play. Right?
Yeah.
And so that means I call the next play. And the next play is everybody starts out perfect on one side, perfect on the other, and the ability to send it back and forth. And then we're going to add what the Chinese call fa jing. That's explosive power, right? So we're going to be instantaneously ready, right? And bing, instantaneous, bing, and then we can go bing, bing,
Like, I'll
bing,
tell
bing.
you what, I feel like the Asian cultures really love your Weck shit
Oh
too.
my God.
They are
Well,
all about it.
the Asian culture brings, well, my philosophy is based in the Asian culture. So Tai Chi Chuan, the supreme ultimate fist, is the translation of Tai Chi Chuan is supreme ultimate fist in English. And when I discovered this, again, that's forced transmission. That is supreme and that is ultimate. If I want to do that to someone or if I want to do this for myself, this is that's better than this. This is for the purposes of holding a stick or a weapon. Okay, that's why I do that. I'll grab onto mommy and don't fall off. But empty handed, this is nonsense. This is bad. And it is the reflex. So if I'm happy, yeah, my team won. If I'm pissed off, you motherfucker, you go here, right? It's a universal thing because the grasping reflex is why we're alive. The manipulation of this thing right here is why the gorilla is in the zoo and the lion, the tiger, the bear, right? It's because of this. So, of course, this is important. But now, what we're going to do is we can soft fist educate someone to say, hey, dude, you see how your bones are going to be in a really bad position right here, and these are going to be sort of totally disintegrated. You're apt to have problems here and here if you punch like this, and your wrist is going to get doinked. So you're going to have a lot of problems if you start punching like that. You're going to have to tape it up and wraps and oh yeah, let's spend 15 minutes getting ready, right? When we could just so simply triangulate the fingers And now I have triangles. And the triangle, look at how sharp that is. Look at how flat that is.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna fucking penetrate, right? And that sucker has triangles in the center, which means it transmits force and there's no problem. The wrist, I don't need to tape my wrist. Why would I need to tape my fucking wrist? I got triangles. I'm carrying the sticks, right? Delivering them through the water to fucking penetrate, cancel Christmas, 6 months in the hospital, sudden death, take your pick. Right? So the bone, when I discovered that, that's when I was like, holy shit, the integration here, I don't need to swing my arm. I can fucking jolt it down. And instantly, I think Deion Sanders, Randy Moss, what did they do actually? Boom, boom, boom. That's what they did actually. Kill that. So in 2017, when I invent these pulsers, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to shove this down your throat. I'm going to reach it right up the other hole and I'm going to meet it. Where do you want to meet? The liver, where do you want to meet? The small, where do you want to meet? You're using my pulsers. When Fosbury introduced and demonstrated and proved with an Olympic record gold medal that 1968 going over the high jump that way's better. 4 years later, the gold medal was not as high a jump by a guy doing the old technique because the coaches, because the experts just couldn't handle the truth. You see how that works?
I didn't know that.
They couldn't handle the truth because the truth suddenly took their expertise and made it irrelevant. Everything you've done the past 30 years and all your championships and all the people, you're the students and the athletes under your tutelage set all these records and then boom, 1968, it's a whole new game. And you were the best at an at a technique that is biomechanically substandard. So that means that all that expertise must be recalibrated to what is correct. And most experts don't want to experience that. And there's nobody more competitive for their own ideas than a scientist at a scientist convention, where 1,000 scientists in a room, you have 1,000 people who want desperately their self-image exists. Their being is defined by whether they are right or if the other guy is right. So you have 1,000 people desperately, desperately seeking to have all 999 other ones be wrong so that you're the thought leader. That's the pole position. That's what everybody in science is competing for because they're not competing for money. You see how it works? And the smaller the fucking spoils, the more vicious they'll fucking fight. It's just ridiculous, these academics, because they're in ivory towers and they're not in reality so that they don't even know what they don't know, which is what they don't know. And it's so just like Peter Weyand is like the greatest, locomotive biomechanist of all time. That guy doesn't know the first thing. And he's done studies where it's just like, wait a minute, this is the stupidest study I ever saw. And your conclusion is some little factoid about relative speed on a treadmill between a little old lady and Usain Bolt, and they both spend the same amount of time in the air, and that put them on the fucking ground.
Right.
Granny's running 5 miles an hour with the belt, and that guy's going 26 miles an hour with a belt. And now you're gonna tell me that everybody has the same frequency? What the fuck are we talking about? Like, I don't need $1 million treadmill that goes 500 miles an hour without a camera in front of it. Crying out loud. You put your treadmill 6 inches from a wall so you can't film from the front. And let's watch it all from the side. Oh. And that's the best that we've got. Really? Really? I mean, it's just frankly, like I went to Williams College. I graduated with honors, and I had a job on Wall Street the summer before I, got out of college, where I was going to be a millionaire that way. Okay, I'm competitive and I'm smart. I'm critically thinking. I'll put myself up against anyone when it comes to critical thinking because I'm honest and I have an intellect. Honesty is the key ingredient for that, right? And then creative thinking. I'm the guy who says, "What if?" What if dot dot dot? What comes after best? Well, better be fucking better, doesn't it? Yeah, because there's no such thing as best forever.
What
You
have
gotta
you What have you invented that didn't work out? Is there anything that
Oh,
I'm sure there is, right? There's got
oh
to
yeah, yeah.
be.
The one that my greatest failure as a product was something called the Quick Hands Bola Trainer. It's two foam balls attached by an elastic cord, and it's like the ultimate cat toy. This thing, I could snap this thing out and bring it back at more than 110 miles an hour. And I could do all these tricks with it. I could roll it and flow with it. I could like poi the damn thing. I could snap it and catch it. I could
Like
snap.
it could go to like the EDMs, it sounds like raves.
Yeah, yeah, well, right, exactly. You're doing that. But this one, the Raves don't have an elastic band that's bringing that motherfucker straight back at
That'd be
you. You
trippy.
fling it out and you catch it right here. You see, if I can go whoomp, whoomp, and catch 110 miles an hour here without the precision skill of having, you know what I mean? Like it's coming at 110. Is it here, here, here? I don't know. It is somewhere. And if you can stand in on that, well, now it becomes less intimidating when you're gonna, have a guy who wants to do it to you, right? Because now you're intercepting, right? So Bruce Lee, the whole thing about intercepting is it's triangulation. So the enemy or opponent launches first, but I arrive before by intercepting with angles, right? You need forward intent, otherwise you lose. And the best defense is a good offense, so you must face the force, right? Like these are fundamental, move without moving. If you understand martial science, which these fucking academics, they ridicule martial science as if it is something that, isn't peer reviewed. So they fucking poo-poo that which is responsible for them for their stupid ass being alive, taking up fucking space on this planet. These terribly weak. They are so weak. Lance Brooks is Peter Wayans' protege, and this is the weakest little fuck you could ever imagine. He is so weak. And I hope he hears this because, Lance, you are pathetic. And the only way you restore yourself, right? You look at these because you're going to stand on these too, you fuck. You see, these guys, my rage and vengeance and desire for revenge is infinite. Okay, I'm from New Jersey, and you don't fuck with Jersey just is unjustly. Okay, just criticism, just whatever. Okay, fine. But if it's unjust, we have a fundamental problem that never goes away. Okay, so my rage goes to those depths where I can't get rid of it, so I can't pretend. So what I got to do with rage is I have to know how I can put my body into positions that can handle and manage that much pressure. And I'm talking about I've gone to places where that much pressure is like I need 12 hours of fucking sleep because I just tried to kill myself with pressure. I went as far as I could possibly go because the rage at the injustice and the fucking bullshit happening all around us is almost too much to bear. And if I didn't have the skeletal capacity to manage that much fucking intense rage, I'm talking furious fucking anger that you can't, it will never go away. You need to admit that it exists and then you need to control it and compress it until the black turns perfect crystal clear because carbon atoms arranged under pressure, right? And so that's what I'm bringing to this little fucking internet antics and this paradigm shift. I don't think that they're squeezing the fucking fluid within them with the pressure that I am, okay? I think they got stuck squeezing their fucking spine and they forgot about force transmission. That's what I think because I know that that's what they did and that's what I'm doing. And this is a paradigm shift and it is so crazy that there is an opportunity for a guy to be born and come up into this little play, skit, movie, whatever you want to call it, the drama, the stories to God's glory, that this is even a position or an accolade or you can slot yourself into the guy who restored fucking physical integrity for humankind by teaching people head over foot, which is no financial transaction necessary for you to transform your life and enjoy the ultimate creature comfort, which is pain-free, tensional balance in your body and a belly full of fucking food. That's a real nice place to be. And if you can get to that place every fucking day, which a human being can and should deserves to, well, then I think the world's going to be better than we can imagine it to be because we don't deny reality that we are competitive. All right. What happens in these little academic circles is they throw barbs and wires and all the spears at each other too, right? So they don't just shoot them out, they shoot them within. But then when they have a great debate at Stanford on a stage, well, now suddenly, oh, let's nerf the fucking thing. Let's nerf it. Let's nerf it. And then when it's over, oh, well, let's go back and take the nerf thing off and send, Stuart McGill criticizing Gray Cook's functional movement screen, right? On the internet, all, wherever, camera, oh, functional screens have zero correlation with, injuries. They're a complete useless waste of time, is essentially, what McGill says online. Gray Cook is just a Southern gentleman, one of the best guys you'll ever meet. And he's like, basically, look, it may be wrong, it may be right, but I'm comfortable in that I am putting forth a best effort that even if this effort is not the answer, it was a stepping stone to the
Yeah.
answer. You can't take a better position than what Gray Cook takes. Because it's like, okay, you're not imposing anything on us and you're just trying to contribute and you're open to critique. But critique and criticism, you sort of have to, balance that with solutions too. Everybody
Yeah.
can sit there and, squawk. But okay, well, what are you actually going to talk to help us walk with balance? Right? That's where the rubber hits the road. That's what matters. Right? So, and this is a reality. So it's happening. And there's nothing they can do right now to change it from happening. And I could exit the stage and it's still going to happen. Like that is, I used to want to be in front of the camera, be famous, be an actor, be a teen idol, have people adore me. Like I wanted that. That's why I went into acting. Marlon Brando, James Dean. I want to be a legend, right? And that is in large part what drew me to acting. Because I wanted to, be that. An actor who people knew. If you're an actor and nobody knows, well, how good of an actor were you? And maybe you were too good. Right? So that competitive drive and fire, well, it needs to find root. Like you can sense when some people walk in a room, they sort of have a resonance about them. They're more impactful, right? They're having a better time. And then there's people who just can't quite establish that confidence to just be here and now, not invested in the outcome because you're confident that one way or another you're going to land the plane, right? If you only got one option, now you're biting your fingernails if that option ain't, going right all of a sudden, right? But if you got options because you're just playing in the moment, that's life. Right. And I know because I was the athlete that was burdened by all of that other shit. And I didn't have like a reliable strategy to make that go away and harness it for what it can do. Because I'll run faster with, a ton of eyeballs and a lot of noise than I will if there's nobody. Give me the energy. I'll fucking run faster with that. And some people get crushed by it. Some people
Yeah.
will run. I had a friend in high school. He's a football player, and he didn't like the pressure. So like we'd be playing basketball. I'd be like, I'll $20 on that next shot. 20 fucking bucks. Because if I put $20 on it, the odds were that he would miss it if he tried it. And if I didn't put $20, then the odds are he would make it.
Yeah.
So I would fuck with
Yips.
them. I would fuck with them, right? $20, right? Here's the 20. I'll give it to you before. And I get it back when it bounces out.
Uh, that's funny. I was
Right.
curious. I've done a little video about this before too. And also actually real quick, one thing you said that I think is really insightful is that it's this shit is so complicated, we have to make it not complicated. And then
Yes. Yeah.
like if you're
Yeah.
if you're looking at the body as a pressure system from the inside, managing fluid and air, and then on the outside we have this biotensegrity network. It's like you're never going to come up with a formula that is saying this is exactly how you do, but the shape means so much. And traditional bodybuilding and a lot of the traditional like PT stuff, they don't take into account the shape at all of your axial skeleton, of your spine, and of your ability to change shapes too, because that's the thing. Is people get stuck in one shape. And
Yes.
I took your course right after I took my first PRI course. I'm not sure if you're familiar with PRI at all. Are you familiar with
Okay.
them? Yeah,
Okay.
so right after I did that, I took yours and that just clicked so many similarities because it's not always about just getting out of extension. A lot of people just have no access to one side. And so a lot of the things I was doing in PRI, I was like, I can do an elastic limit hold on my left side and I can get the same stuff. I can do more coiled core training on my left side that I have trouble staying in, a little bit more RMT on my right where I have trouble getting out of. So I really saw like a great opportunity for rehab. And then
Yes.
my
Yes.
main thing is as a bodybuilder, what is your view on how to best implement Weck method
Yeah.
for bodybuilding
All
purposes?
right. So yeah, fantastic question. And let me go back to you said the word shape, right? Which is correct, but the way that you internalize it is you use the word position. So if I think in terms of shape, it's putting this external observation on it, whereas the position is going to be same, but different to the next guy because it's the thing that is poised to pounce for you. So if that is better, or that is better, or that is better, I don't give a fuck. Get in the position. All right. Don't seek a shape.
It'll create the
Get,
shape. Yeah.
don't, it'll, the shape will happen when
Yeah.
you have the position. Don't chase it by shape.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just an important distinction to make because we are, and it rhymes, positions, transitions. Okay. Like we need to know where we're going and we need to get to where we're going. Like, and we need to be there when we get there. And that's the head over the foot. Right. So now bodybuilding, it is, it is very typical for the fitness guy to make fun of and attack the bodybuilder as a clunky guy who can't move, right? That's the typical, oh, you don't want to be like a bodybuilder. Watch Pumping Iron and watch the guys in that movie running at the beach. And I'm going to say, well, fuck. I wouldn't mind, looking like that and running like that. They look pretty fucking athletic, to tell you the truth, right? And maybe they're not even that athletic. Maybe the weightlifting and the movement skill that they do have, if you watch them running in the beach, they're fucking good. Right? They're not blocky at all. And
Yeah, they were throwing the football. I can't see
I've
the guys
seen
doing that
some
now.
some bodybuilders can do like popping and locking and shit. I mean, some of these guys, and I mean, you want to talk about like a Cossack squat or anything. Some of these bodybuilders move their body like fucking amazing.
Like
And
Juju.
yeah, just right, exactly. You want to see them spin 3 times and land in the double bicep? All right, go, right? So the idea that bodybuilders are by definition these troglodyte guys who can't move, that's just a wrong brushstroke. Okay. Yes, there are the guys who can't button their shirt, but they're not winning the gold in the contest anyway. Right. You have to be able to present, right, in bodybuilding. And so what that does for a bodybuilder, nobody has more like mind muscle connection than a fucking bodybuilder. Right. Oh, I want to get a peak on like right there. Okay. You know what I mean? Like you have to have that connection if you're going to make that little teeny thing grow that much more, right? So with Weck method in bodybuilding, let's say I'm hitting biceps. Well, let's coil the motherfucking shit out of a concentration curl, right? What if we take an angle like what if we're in a curl and we're like, almost like turning into a fucking arm wrestle and then dialing it and like, oh, I get that peak. Like I'm getting this supination, I'm getting this coil, and now I'm gonna. I mean, you can start to explore from the inside fucking out when you have these positions and concentrate it where you want to direct it. And we have, because, and I know this to be true because we had a bodybuilder, one of the certs, and this guy was a bodybuilder. And he was the bodybuilder that I'm talking about, a guy who knew his fucking body. And so cool, now I can train with more like directed intensity, and now I can display it with more elegance and big cat. So it's like a bodybuilder. What I want to do is I want the fitness industry to stop fucking trying to amplify what they think is wrong and just focus on doing things right. We don't need Naughty fucking Aguilar telling us that barbells are bad and you know, and that motherfucker.
I've never
Oh,
watched one thing of his. I can't get
so
into it. What
well
does
the
he
thing
do?
about the thing about him is it his ego's not bigger than mine. Okay, so let's just get one thing clear, okay? Because nobody's ego is bigger than mine in this space, right? Nobody. Because I know that I'm the fucking greatest ever in this subject. Because our ancestors didn't have the leisure time to spend 80,000 hours tinkering around and go to Home Depot and buy this and that to make this and that. right? They were busy getting shit done. So they just they trained throwing, right? They didn't train running and they didn't train walking. If you train throwing and you train swinging, you get locomotion by proxy, right?
It's all gait. Yeah.
Gait is the foundation. And if I relate to gait by having the spinal engine throw the spear accurately, that's what I need. Begin with the end in mind. If I'm the village elder, I need to teach the fucking 5-year-olds how to hit the goddamn thing that I just set up with a stick that's sharp. It has poison. Like they need to know this. So we're going to practice it. We're going to make games on it. We're going to whatever, whatever, whatever. We're going to get really fucking good at these motions, right? So what am I doing? I'm figure eights. And so it's osmotic. If you're a bushman in fucking Kalahari and you talk like you didn't study it, you just fucking imitated it, and you got the positive and negative feedback, mirror neurons. Okay, the kid who says mama is met with reward that incentivizes dada. I mean, come on, right? They're jumping up, going nuts when I say mama. That's I'll log that one in the bank. Pull that one out when I need it, right? You motherfucker. It goes all the way back.
It definitely does.
So, yeah, I mean, the good thing is that it is happening, right? And that's also makes me, I can have more fun with it. And my anger is reducing, because I do see this going to the conclusion where it's like, my influence on the foundation will beget so much just integrity and authenticity that the bullies are just weeded out and they're ostracized before they can form into their little bucket of crabs who ostracize people because you commandeer the science and you're the gatekeeper to employment. Well, I mean, come on, that's a really good position because these industries like personal training, like the police force, like Uber, like whatever. Every year there's going to be 20 or 30,000 people diving into any given endeavor, and most of them will wash out within 3 years. They're on to something else, right? So the fitness certification business is a non-stop new supply, right? 15 years from now, the guy who was only, 8, he's now taking the test. So it's like this endless business and demand because you need to have the scientific validation that you're responsible enough to teach these people how to move around better, right? Train for sports better. So that's the whole machine. And that means that market forces will ultimately eliminate the bad behavior only when we get it right, because right means it's sustainable. It works tomorrow. Mike Boyle, his quotes, what if it turned out we didn't know what we were talking about after all? Okay, well, you're right. You're prophetic, Mike. You're at that point right now. All these like platitudes about how you should be open-minded and I don't even think the industry wants to learn and like all this kind of nonsense that he's not taking his own advice right now by just reading reading the table and understanding the cards that are in your hand are what they are, and the cards on the table. It's like I drew to an inside straight flush on these guys, and they didn't calculate. They're like, oh, there's no way he'll get three fucking. No way he's gonna get the 10, the jack, and the queen. No way. And I got a fucking ace and a king, and I got a full house, whatever. So, or he got four aces. No, he can't because I got an ace. That's right. Best he can do is a full house. That's right. Can't. Well, he can get a straight flush, but it's
Sure.
low the time.
There we go. Where do you plan on doing like next? Are you taking Weck Method somewhere else? Or any progressions?
Oh,
I saw you talk about some breathing stuff, which is that's all
oh
my
yeah.
all my
Oh
jam.
yeah.
So what is that?
Oh, okay. So basically my three-stage master plan is ubiquitous in fitness. That means in the zero-sum game of making the best athletes better, Weck is center of the circle. You can't be there without Weck, and that's what's happening head over foot. And it's not just my products; it's sort of the methodology. So there's a sincerity that I could tell you something that makes you better. You didn't have to pay me nothing. So now, like, how am I the charlatan all of a sudden? It just made you better for free. You just had to have the good sense to fucking cash in on it, right? I'm your best friend, even though you hate me. and I hate you. So touche. Difference is I take my haters and I force them to get better doing my shit so that I can satisfy my ego and completely destroy and humiliate theirs, which is the only way that they can become the good, gentle little child inside that they actually are. You see how I just like, oh, I love it. So, but, and then the second one is footwear, footwear and apparel. I'm getting into footwear. I have the patented perfect fucking pitch that uplifts human souls and prevents premature collapse. Holy fuck, Phil Knight, he comforted dysfunction and let the dysfunction deep seat root itself in. You got your jaw hurts. You didn't realize that your fucking Nikes let you down. They let you down, and Dr. Scholl's tried to do it for you. Along comes Weck, along comes Weck. And he engineered, if human beings are made according to some divine design or divine proportion and Fibonacci and phi and all these things, good argument that we are in line with the natural order and structure and creation of things. Well, then might there be a divine geometric arrangement that you could stack, you could put this divine creature, divinely designed creature onto divine geometry, sacred geometry, the angles of a circle. That's how I got my patented pitch. 11.25 degrees rotated 22.5 gives me the patented thing where underneath the big toe is the highest, underneath the outside heel is the lowest. That's the spring that I need to cock so I don't go inside early, but the inside heel is higher than the outside foot, so it's sending me outside and athletic, forward and sprung, ready to go. So we get the uplift effect of not premature collapse. And so suddenly, and it's a nervous system thing because all we did is just change the angle you're on. We're not putting lumps and shit and stuff that makes it so you can't move. A perfect movement on this. So, and the insole is just it's the same patent, the same thing. It's just reduced in dimension to so it fits inside the shoe. And I have them, the prototypes, and like I won't wear shoes without them. And I bought a pair of Nike Air Max Flies or whatever, the $300 ones or whatever they cost, $400. I bought them because I can train my toes in them incredibly. I think they actually suck for running. I think they're faster, but I think you're going to suffer for going faster because they don't understand it. And it's hard to understand. It's really hard to understand, which is why nobody understands it. And I had enough crazy and enough hours and resources that I understand it. So I put my insoles in those Nike Fly Maxes or whatever. They were better. They were suddenly fucking better. If they fit in your shoe, odds are they are better. And that means that you wear Adidas, powered by Weck Method, Nike, powered by Weck Method. So my business strategy is to be ubiquitous, not by being on top of anyone, but by being underneath. For real, God's honest, I'm underneath you, which means you cannot actualize your fullest potential without doing it with my shit, my methodology and my inventions. You like you see, that's the alligator, the crocodile going. You can feel the vibration. You just stay the fuck away. But in this case, I'm calling, baby. Come calling because what you're getting is invaluable information. Teaching you how to form positions that are fucking invaluable because to feel as good as I feel physically, as inferior and fucking beta as my physical prowess actually is from a nature standpoint, the nurture, fuck.
You got so much variability open to you. That's the thing. People
The
lose all
way
their
I
movement
move, the way
variability.
the way that I move, other men know that I'm physically confident. All right. I can walk into any locker room, any pro thing. I don't care how many fucking of the most amazing athletes are in there, mindset and physical. And I will walk in that room and there will be not 1 ounce of nervous, not a bone in me that ain't fucking resonated because it's rooting or rooted to the truth. I can walk in there and say, you're a better man than me, and you're a better man than you because of me. And I can say that, boom, drop the fucking mic and pick it up and say it again. Mike Boyle has one where if you're still teaching the same thing you were teaching 10 years ago, you're either, a genius or you're a complete fraud or whatever the fuck the quote was. Well, I would say the exact opposite. I would say that if you're not doing the same exact thing with different tools in different ways, than you were doing any point in the past, you haven't found it yet. Because I don't have to change my principles. I don't have to change my philosophy. In fact, changing my philosophy, my principles would be the worst thing that I could ever do. There would be nothing so insincere as taking reality and not bending your knee to reality. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? You don't have to obey the rules. I do. Oh, it comes from the ground up. That's page 2 in the book. Page 1 is it goes down to the ground and then it comes up from the ground. Don't fucking pretend that you got rockets under your feet, in which case you still got to go down before you go up. So
Got to manage gravity.
any up prior to the necessity to go down is a fucking problem that might result in your knee is completely ruined. And what happened? Like, what happened? You were running and nothing happened, and now you need surgery. Like, well, what is happening? When I was a kid, you didn't see that happen. Joe Theismann's bone got snapped and it poked out of the skin, but the fucking Lawrence Taylor did it to him. He didn't do it to. And now we get hurt from nothing. NBA, the guy just fucking stepped back and snapped his Achilles tendon off. What is happening? Is it the shoes? Is it the flooring? Is it the fuck? Is it the training? Is it the training? Are we allowed to ask that question? Like, what training may have factored into improvement or regression on the athletic field? Like, are we not allowed to ask that question? Look, what the fuck are these trainers doing to these athletes? I want to know. They're dropping like flies. Like, what are we doing? What are they eating? How are they sleeping? I mean, what's the problem? What they do in the weight room and what they do on the track and what they do on the field. That is the problem because you're taking nature and you're denaturing it with academic fucking ideas and concepts that don't survive the fire.
Dude, I just made a video about people like obsession about lever arms and torque in the body, and it's the same thing. They're trying so hard to figure out some system that's simplified that they can apply, but it's going to tell you one little tiny portion of the
It,
story. And you see that
it's
in every field. Yeah.
You need to, what you need to do is you have to establish the cue or the thing to do where when you press that button, systemic integrity, right? So one button, head over foot on your next step, systemic integrity. Suddenly, bang, and it's too complex to think about it, right? You write a dissertation, but that's going to take you a couple years. And meanwhile, you need to get the second base. So let's go, right? Like you can study it later, right? I've already studied it. We can talk after. Let's just fucking go. In balance, right? Why would we not? Because your feelings can't handle it. I mean, it's literally that. And I say on my post now, I do all my posts with my thumb. My right thumb writes fucking tomes on the internet every day. And so I'm just on the internet, just telling the truth with my right thumb and just, telling the truth, banging the drum. It's not when, it's not if, it's when, and the when has never been closer. And it's the social proof. When I
Oh,
met
so
Mark,
oh, Mark
social,
Bale? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
social proof. So Ben Patrick, who I love, hats off to Ben
Is
fucking
that
Patrick.
that knees over toes guy?
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
when you are in your mid 20s and you can, barely touch the rim, and several years later, you're like you have to go to the dentist after a gym session because your teeth are all bashed from the rim. I mean, that guy is doing something that vertical jump is so much harder than speed, especially as you get older. Like you lose the resilience of the bones. And I think that in addition to the stiffening of the fascial structure, right? We don't want that stiff. We need it resilient and fluid. But your bones also get more brittle and less bendy. And so I think the sweet spot for athletic top performance is 18 to 32. Like somewhere in that window is when your nature will be at its highest potential. So if you got the nurture figured out, that's when you set your world record, right? But when you're 45 years old, you're not as fast as when you're 25 years old, but you could be a shit ton stronger at 45.
Yeah.
And if you can be, I'm talking like you could squeeze your fucking younger man's hand and make him bend his knees because you're fucking strong now, right? That's
Old man
man strong.
strength.
Old
Yeah.
man fucking man strong. But it ain't fast because it doesn't bounce the way it used to,
Yeah.
right? And that's my theory is that the skeleton holds far more importance and factors that we can now train and control for. The skeleton is the priority because that's the architecture. So we need the skeleton to be positioned in a manner that the fascia is fluid. And if we don't have it, when you watch a real fast 40-yard dash or like real fast and the guy's got his shirt off, you're going to see ripples of fucking fluid cat muscles. Just it's going to send this, and it's going 4.5 times a second. So you can't even see it. But when you slow it down, you see like a there's not stiffness in the fucking body. It's pressure. It's fluid pressure, right? And fluid pressure is so powerful. Air can be compressed, but fluid cannot be compressed. So what you give the goal is, and this brings us to the breathing. So John Brookfield, who is a legend, okay, John Brookfield, Mastery of Hand Strength. I think I read that book in like 1993, like way back. And my youngest brother bought it with all the grippers and shit. And he bought John Brookfield's book, and that's when I first became aware of him, like 1993. And he's a world record-setting strongman. He does like the most ridiculous. He invented battling fucking ropes.
Oh wow.
He invented battling ropes. Whoa. What's your contribution? Oh, you know that thing you see everywhere? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that. Like that's him. So I met him years ago through my friend Steve Cotter, and and then I gave him a pair of prototype pulsers, and he was moving with those. And he just reached out to me recently. He's like, David, I got this breath course that, I teach and I'd love to collaborate with you on it. And because I was posting on breathing stuff. And so he's flying in 2 weeks and we're going to film the best breath course ever because I have like, he signed me into his breath course as it exists right now. And it's just like, this is next level beyond like holy fuck. The course is basically look, turn it loose to John, and then I'll do a little addendum that here's how we do it through the mouth. The best you can do through the mouth biomechanically, I'm gonna teach that, and John's gonna teach you how to master through the nose. Right. And if you can go as far as John, well, you might never need your mouth again, but I'm not going to ever go as far as John. So I need to know my mouth technique.
So he does nasal exhales
That
too?
guy can fucking breathe in and out like 5 minutes in and 5 minutes out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fucking, like, are you kidding me? He can do stuff with breath that the only other alternative would like meditate in a fucking cave on a mountaintop for 20 years and then maybe they'll teach you the secret or just take it from John Brookfield and go fast.
Yeah.
So
Are you going to
this
be covering like while you're working out and stuff too,
oh
breath
yeah, no,
patterns?
this is the greatest found. I'm so excited because personally, I'm a novice at breathing. So I've not studied breathing with even a fraction of what I studied the biomechanics. And I realized relatively recently that I would be holding my breath way too often.
Yeah.
And on a
That'll take away from
jujitsu,
the shape. Like your breath will inform that shape that we're talking about.
absolutely, absolutely, because the breath can assist or resist position. Right? So yeah, and then let me get back to the third phase of this master plan. So first is products, right? Program, fitness, sports performance, ubiquitous. Then footwear, ubiquitous. You want to wear the greatest shoes ever made? Well, then you buy them from Weck. And then the next stage is called surfaces. And surfaces just means anything that is three dimensions that we interact with. What if dot 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 we can make it better by Weck methodizing the ergonomics, the design. Like I want to design Willy Wonka shit that no one's ever seen. And when they feel it, they're like, holy fuck, why didn't this thing exist before? And when I have the budget and the cash flow, which I'm going to come into, where like I can go fast and I can start compete with the big players without having to borrow the money to do so. So I've never, aside from the first $300,000 that I borrowed to get the Bosu project off the ground, I've never borrowed another nickel, and that investment has been paid back Many. So the investor did very well for that $300 or $300,000
I always
kicks.
wondered, I was kind of curious, like if you like how you did on that financially, because those are like such a big deal. I mean, people would think you're like worth 100 million just off the
Well,
bosu boat.
well, to make one bosu ball out of a factory, going to cost you, 200 grand minimum just to build the tools to build one. So, and you're talking north of 200 grand actually, right? To make all the parts come together just to make the first one. But what I had done is I had built hundreds of prototypes that I had proof of concept. Like the US ski team, I'm official supplier and I'm fucking sending them handmade things. Really? Oh, yeah. Right. And there's just tremendous utility in it because it provides a balance of stable, unstable that's unprecedented because the device itself with the platform down, it's a fucking convex trampoline. It's stable as can be. I can load it with 3 times, 4 times body weight. No problem. No problem. It will never fail me. And it's extremely safe. What other device can I truly lose my balance and just step down at zero consequence? And then if I understand how to strategically reset threat by going to the softer side, right? Just let go of the bit in your mouth and stop clenching yourself for a second to actually feel subtlety, right? A fly lands on your shoulder, if you can't even sense it, and then a mouse climbs on your shoulder, you can't even sense it. And then pretty soon you got an elephant on your shoulder and you're so fucking held up that you can't even sense a goddamn elephant. How are you going to be elegant and smooth? Right? Suddenly, stronger fucking loses to weaker because weaker smarter, which makes it stronger, then stronger that's stupid. Stupid strong is going to get itself hurt.
Kind of like smooth as
Bro,
fast, smooth as slow,
smooth,
smooth as fast.
smooth, right? It can't be fast if it's not smooth.
Yep.
Squeeze yourself. Oh, the core is dedicated to stopping motion. Well, wait a minute. Isn't my quad going to stop the fucking motion? Like, what are we talking about? Oh, these are, it's, it's just it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate because it's true. And I will hold these guys to account because I'm not going anywhere. Well, let's put it this way. My work is not going anywhere. Like I have guys who have taken my work and Chris Chamberlain, eroding weakness.
Yeah.
If anyone eroding weakness on Instagram, I mean, you want to talk about strong as fuck at all things, right? He took the reason he is with me and the director of programming is because when I met him, we spent 15 minutes together. I taught him how to coil deep, and then he did a 45-pound one hand press PR, 45-pound PR. And he was like, holy shit. So he came back and I taught him the ropes and he devoured the fucking ropes. And then we reached a place in a very short amount of time where it was like, your skill set and my skill set makes this thing around the world and forever. So do you want to have a forever relationship where like I can count on you and you can count on me that this is going to go all around the world and that this is what it is? Shake hands. Yes, that's what it is. And Weck Method would not be what it is without Chris Chamberlain.
Oh yeah, for
It
sure.
wouldn't be what it is without Alex Canellis. It wouldn't be what it is without all these people. Edward Troyce. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same because each one of them is adding what is uniquely their own and they're doing it better than I could do it. Edward could teach you how to switch rope and how to landmine do it and how to fucking press this and that. He'd teach you better than me. So I'm not going to fucking get in the way of that and try to be, oh, I'm the guru. It's me, it's me. What Nowdy's problem is that Nowdy wants it so bad, and he does great work with people with like severe, structural problems. He'll foam roll you for 6 months and fix the problem. But then his functional stuff, I taught him head over foot. So before me, he was teaching this locomotion where you held a barbell across your waist and your shoulders are perfectly flat, the barbell's perfectly flat, your feet are this far apart, and you twist yourself and step and twist and step and twist and step. So you're doing like this.
Your head's
I
just
was just like, and I was just like, this is the stupidest fuck. Like, what the fuck? This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So, and he's an ass. So I was like, I'm gonna mess with him. So I sent him a message on Facebook back when I was on Facebook using my computer. Now I'm only Instagram and X on my phone, but this was Facebook only on my computer. I sent him a message with a screenshot of him head dead in the middle on his
Yeah,
right foot, dead in the middle on his left foot. And I say, hey, how you doing? I just want to give you a little tip. It's going to make everything you do better. Head over foot. Send. Before my button, my finger got off return, it's three dots, three dots. And then like, Jesus, did you have this preloaded?
wow.
Fuck you. I'm gonna get my lawyers, fuck you. I mean, like, I just kicked over an anthill. Like, oh my God,
Oh
this
my
guy.
goodness.
But to his credit, he runs great and he teaches people to run great with the figure eight that is head over foot. Now, he didn't stick around for the next lesson, which is, dude, rather than put some measly little fucking thing and twist around with your shoulders all square like this, fucking learn how to differentiate and fucking bring vertical into the equation. Don't just twist because he's too twisty right now. Head over foot, great job. Just overall great results with people with severe disorders, but completely missing the boat in terms of establishing fucking position on side, transition over center. Duh, that's me. And now he's in a trap because he can't teach rope flow because that means he's bending the knee to me. And if you can't teach the Rosetta Stone of integration exercise, the greatest thing that a human being could do, and you can't teach it because it's inconsistent with your brand is the only brand that can shepherd us forward, that's fucked you. And now you can't teach rope flow without bending the knee to me. And you already teach head over foot, which you told me on a fucking podcast. Oh, no, I teach chest over knee. I don't teach head over foot. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't teach that.
That's hilarious.
You little
The
fraud.
coping, you know.
You little fraud.
Oh,
Admit it. You're going to log your loss to Weck like everyone else because logging the loss to Weck is the only way that you can win in fitness and exercise sports performance. It's the only way you can win. And that's unequivocal and it's unapologetic. I'm sorry, but I'm really not fucking sorry because we're not going to teach people to be twisty and we're not going to teach people to be stiffies. Like stiff when you're dead, stiff in the bedroom for, however long it lasts, but not stiff, not stiff, not stiff. It's pressure, right? It's
yeah.
pressure.
Yeah, if you're not fucked up too, it's the natural way to move. If you haven't like fucked yourself up by training like an asshole, like you're gonna do that naturally anyway.
Athletic intelligence is the only thing that is saving people, humankind, from the ineptitude of peer review exercise science. There's not money to be made studying walking, right? Biomechanics are studied when we have expensive bicycles to sell, expensive golf clubs to sell, right? I want to buy a golf club that lets it hit me further and straighter than my buddy, and I'm willing to spend $2,500 for that fucking magic fucking tool that makes me a better golfer. Right? Okay, well, now we have TPI and we're going to study, from 1,000 cameras and heat sensors, and we're going to know this thing down to that. There's money, and money brings talent. Money brings fucking, stuff. But, oh, I'm going to study walking. And oh, yeah, like what the fuck? Nobody cares about that. I'm the least interesting guy at the party unless you want to talk about fucking grass growing, paint drying, and fucking walking. Like we're talking about walking. How much is there to say? Like if you just talk to a normal person, do you like to walk? The answer is going to be yes or no, right? Sometimes. And then the first question will be like, well, where do you like to walk? How long do you like to walk? How frequently do you walk? It's never how the fuck do you walk, right? It's never how you walk because it's you walk. You just fucking walk. What's the textbook say? Oh, you fall forward and recover your balance. Oh, really? Okay. Well, no wonder. Yeah, everybody's back hurts. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
means your center of gravity is all fucked if you're constantly
It's just
pushing
you're
yourself.
out of you don't have tensional balance. You got fucking restriction sending up in your body if you're not in balance. And would God create a fucking heart and a brain and all these organs and all this fluid and blood and bones if it weren't gonna fucking just at least orchestrate beautiful melodic fucking musical movement that's mathematically precise? Or is he gonna make something that fucking can't put one foot in front of the other without tripping? No, because of those that go that way with God's design, their seed doesn't go forward. And so God took care of it. God's like, I don't like losers. I'll just have losers die. Okay. That's my solution. I want to see stories to my glory. I don't want to see Paloff presses and guys fucking milking the suburban affluent with exercises that are harming these precious little fucking kids. And they are harming them. And I would say that opportunity cost is a form of harm, but this goes far worse. This goes into negative outcomes, bad consequences, injuries when nothing happened. So we got to ask a question. What'd you do in the weight room to train him? Why did you have him uproot himself as the very first thing that you did? And you didn't let him rotate till he couldn't rotate, and you made that stronger. And you guys said don't build strength on dysfunction, and you guys can't even teach people to walk. And I'm going to say that that is the fucking that's a cardinal sin that you don't understand and teach the balanced function of walking. That's the function that bridges all the other functions. And you fuck that one up, you're not going to ride a horse as well because you didn't walk over to that horse with balance, right? You're not as nice because you're frustrated. And like we were talking earlier, your upper brain doesn't have a clue while you're so frustrated and impotent and such a weak person who has to be mean, unprovoked. That is the sure sign of weakness, is someone being mean without provocation. I mean, Jesus, find me a fucking Stuart McGill disciple and I will find you that person. I'm
Well, you,
serious. I'm
well,
serious. And I got nothing against Stu McGill other than the fact that he is the fucking god of stiff spine science. And they fucking pray 7 times a day to McGill. Okay. Like, if McGill said it, yeah, And so it's a lot of bullshit. And poor Stu. Yeah, the stew has come to a boil. Boyle. Right?
Oh man, I'm glad you.
Those guys harmed my bosu ball, and they misinformed millions of people with their nonsense. And I'm right and wrong, and feelings are getting hurt, and that whatever. Who cares,
At
right?
least you're not by yourself now. There are a lot more people speaking out against
Well,
McGill, and
see, and and I knew that. Though. You think that I would go out on the limb that I'm out on if I didn't know that it was the trunk of the tree? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I wouldn't be so foolish.
yeah,
And even when I had the information, but I didn't quite yet have the pulsers, there wasn't a way to deliver that information without like very high touch, very high level interest if I'm going to teach you without a tool. But
yeah,
now I invent the tool that teaches it. Can't sort of go wrong. If it sounds right, it is right. Okay. Right. The positioning, okay, it's very simple. And so that's when I went on full-fledged attack. Like, fuck you guys been lying and harming me all these years. I'm gonna fucking destroy. But then they just ignore you. And now you're stuck with a better technique that's not being done and taught, which is very frustrating. And then it led to some wisdom where I gotta temper the delivery to be. I deleted 5,000 posts on Instagram. And Instagram only lets you like delete 1,500 at a time. And it's very labor intensive because you
yeah,
select all. You got to fucking. And I didn't want the next person to, come at me and their first impression would be this, stark raving fucking 2 glasses, a beard, and fucking crazy man. Like, I didn't want that to be the first impression for the next person coming. But I'm not denying it. And if you screen recorded it and want to post it and make fun of me, go ahead.
Oh, you should do like a story highlights as Uncle Weck. Just put it there so people don't have to, they won't see it on the thing, and you can
That
just do your rants
that
there.
would that I mean, I have pictures that you would be like, you'd be actually be frightened. Like, wait a minute, I don't know if are we sure we want to move forward?
Uh, well, thank you for fighting the good fight. You're definitely out there trying to improve people's health and quality of life, and that's huge. And your passion is really inspiring. I mean, you can obviously see this is something that you've spent your good majority of your life, working on and being passionate about.
Well, and what I would say is that if you and me were sort of the model for the fitness product that we want to sell, right? I'm going to be chosen for a market of like pretty lame people who just want a dad bod that's not fat. Okay, I can sell that product as long as it's easy. Just take the pill and you look like David Weck. But if we're trying to sell exercise, who me at 14 am I going to buy something from? You or me?
Right,
And the
right.
answer is you. Okay. So now a guy who looks like you and can physically do what you can do is benefiting from my work,
Oh, yeah.
that's why it's working. Because I have the social proof that the aspirational men, the guys who are bigger and stronger and look better, that's just a fact. Because if I could trade places, I would trade places. Like fuck yeah, give me Bo Jackson.
I don't want that fucking arm.
Yeah, you don't want this. Well, you don't want this one either. Your bench is gonna go down. You won't be able to handstand as well. Like it just so I have guys of the highest caliber now who have made my practice sort of the the foundation for what they do so they can add what's their own, and that's the social proof. And again, when I met Mark Bell, I knew. I was just like, okay, Mark. Ben Patrick made the intro. I walk in, I was smiling ear as a Mark. You're a big dog and you're relatable, right? You got millions of people that love you. You got a bunch of people that hate you too, but that don't matter. You got a million people that love you and you're a big dog. And I'm here. I'm going to help you be a big cat. And big cats are sexier than big dogs. And this is it. I said, you're a force multiplier, Mark Bell. And this is, this is the stage before the stage. Because in the 6 degrees of separation, Mark Bell is 1 degree from Rogan and 1 degree from all these people. And I got Mark Bell.
Yeah.
Mark Bell, I rung Mark Bell, and Mark Bell is still ringing.
Yeah.
I mean, his brother Chris, who did Bigger, Stronger, Faster, the movie, and he's doing a sequel to the movie, and I'm a big, I got a nice segment in the
Oh,
movie.
cool.
He said to me, and this is the greatest honor. He said, David, back when Louis Simmons was alive, me and Mark, we'd always be like, yeah, we always come back to Louis. We always come back to Louis. Like we go in and we always come back to Louis. He's like, now we always come back to Weck. We always come back to Weck. I mean, think about that. If you're in this industry and now you're compared to Louis Simmons in
Yeah.
any shape or form, I can die now, right? I can die,
Right.
right? And the alumni of fucking West Side, you ask them if they respect David Weck. Donnie Thompson, fucking Dave Tate, fucking J.R. Holdsworth, fucking name a guy who I've interacted with. I have their respect as someone who is worth talking to because I will benefit from the exchange. And that does a lot to dispel the narrative that I'm this grifter who is trying to fool, fat people into buying my shit. That's literally what I'm accused of.
Can't fake passion either. If you just listen to you talk, I think it'd be pretty evident. But
Well, I think it's also watch the way I move. Like,
yeah.
if you think you're a badass, right, and you're not if you weren't a Division I college wrestler, you're not a real fighter. Let's go in the ring and let's see who's better. I'll play with you. I'll play with you. If you didn't wrestle and you're not like a real fighter, fuck, let's go. Oh, in the bigger you are, the better. Because we're not allowed to wear gloves.
Yeah. Awesome, brother.
Thank
I
you so
really,
much for the opportunity to just whoosh.
oh no, that's exactly what I want. I really appreciate your time, brother.
There'll be
I'll
some
definitely.
good clips in here too.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing with the breeding because that's really
Yeah,
interesting to
that
me.
that one we're filming it in literally like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm looking forward to it because it is my next great adventure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna just totally open a whole nother world for you as well. Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is John has these principles of like wind and swirling wind within, and he has the capacity to like localize
Yeah.
filling in at like intercostal fucking
Yeah. Getting
specificity, right? It's like, holy fuck. And so what I can do now with that breathing is we can now go to the fucking fundamental positions. And now you can start to inflate, biomechanically create more space,
exactly.
and then neural intent create more space, and then swirl the space. So it's going to turn breathing into a whole different thing because for most of the time for the breathing courses that I've, studied and done, it just devolves into hold your fucking breath. Like again, I'm supposed to expel all my air and hold my fucking breath and be miserable for it. And fuck, yesterday I did it 20 seconds longer. Fuck, I quit. That was my experience with breathing. All we're going to do is hold our breath. That's all we ever did. It's just like blow all your air out and hold your breath. All right, well, that's good. I'm getting better. Yeah, yeah, but I'm not going to do that. This is fucking movement.
Yeah, exactly.
John Brookfield saying, like, here's how you do it on a bicycle ride, breathing into your left side for the
Oh,
way out, and
exactly.
breathe to your right side on the way in. Like, I get to fucking travel the world and breathe. I don't just sit in my fucking apartment and fucking, hold my breath.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I
It'd
mean?
be
I
great.
want it to inform my movement. But
Yeah, way
anyway,
more
this has been a
practical.
super pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks a
so
lot,
much.
brother. Have fun down there. Hopefully things aren't too crazy with the all the parades and protests down there.
Oh yeah, well that shit's got to end. We got to get this strong men who teach the children well, protect and provide. Those are the procreators, right? And in fitness, we're going to bully all the fucking bullies out of existence because I ain't going to tolerate a bully. And I think on the subject of moving from here to there, nobody's ever known it as deep as me.
Yeah.
And I'm giving it away and I'm inviting people to try to catch up. But unless you're, able to do in some way like two grand, well, between 1 and 2 grand a week of THC, okay, for extended periods of time. We're talking years. That's how deep I went. Like saturation with THC, because for me it was like it gave me this like primal fucking kundalini, like serpentine, like, and I was so sensitive. I could play push hands and I could feel everything. And then my teeth would get sharp and I'd be like, oh, who's gonna eat tonight? And meanwhile, my buddy's like passed out from that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Uh,
anyway,
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. All
Have a
right, bye
good
bye.
one.